Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and what you're about to watch is the near zeroing of a player that started at over 100 million power and decided in the middle of KVK they were going to go rogue. Why did they go rogue? Because they didn't like the kingdom leadership for whatever reason. I'm actually loving it in this kingdom. Far and away the best run kingdom I've ever been in, and I was running a kingdom for a very long time that had a tremendous amount of growth for a very long time. So I got a pretty high standard for what I would expect a kingdom leadership team to look like, and this kingdom leadership team is really good. So all that to say, they didn't like the kingdom leadership. What really happened, though? What really happened is that they were fighting on a war front that they weren't supposed to be on, and kingdom leadership said repeatedly, don't kill chase, go to this objective, and all the people who were still kill chasing after some number of hours after the messages were sent repeatedly were actually kicked from Alliance to get their attention, to be like, hey, you're not paying attention. The fighting's over here, not over there. And that's a tactic that like many kingdoms have used. I have used that in the past. And people find it frustrating to get kicked, but it's also even more frustrating when people are kill chasing rather than actually doing the thing that they're supposed to do to actually try to win the KVK. So they were so upset that they were kicked out of the Alliance for kill chasing that they decided, you know what? Rather than contribute in this KVK, I am going to sabotage all of your KVK efforts in the best way that I can, which is to take out as many farms as I possibly can, which is kind of like, I mean, look, in my opinion, the lamest way that you could make your departure from the game is by being an asshole to everybody who was a team player with you. So anyways, they obviously weren't a team player because they were fighting where the action wasn't. And then when they got kicked, like they went into full crybaby mode and just went around zeroing farms. And that might sound harsh, but I just have a very low opinion. After having dealt with many people who go rogue, I have a very low opinion of people who backstab the people that help them and like ultimately like bite the hand that feeds you. You know what I mean? Like I just don't think much of people who make that choice. So anyways, I had a conversation with them and it was a very civilized conversation. But you know, I tried to chat with them and say like, hey, is this really what you want to do? Like, because when you do this, like you're not going to be able to migrate to some other kingdom. You're not going to be able to like have a great end game experience anymore because no one's interested in you. Like, are you sure this is what you want to do? When they started zeroing farms. And he was like, yes, I'm going to quit and I'm going to do as much damage as I can before I quit as I possibly can. And I was like, man, all right, well, I disagree with your choice, but you're free to make it. So here they are. They've made their choice. And Bunny, of all people, happens to catch him zeroing a farm, drops the imprison, people poured over, they start swarming. And the reason that the swarm happens here after the rally is we have to kill as many troops as we possibly can from this player. And it's costly, but we also were doing a big Imperium drop anyways. So, like, we're going to leave Imperium. We're going to get a ton of players in by virtue of all this power that we're ultimately losing here. And, like, generally, I don't like losing power, but also, like, we're going to bring in a huge number of players. By the way, link will be in the description if you want to migrate to Kingdom 254. I have actually really, really enjoyed it in this kingdom. Far and away the best kingdom I've ever been in. And, you know, look, like, I ran a kingdom for a long time, so that is a huge kudos to the team here for running this kingdom. And I think the leadership team here is really, really good. So, here's the swarm zeroing, and people just go all in. Now, okay, one thing I do in pretty much any video where there's zeroing is that I give some feedback on, like, what would you do to do a better job next time around? So I would be quite the hypocrite if I didn't do that here. So allow me to give some feedback for how we might better prepare to do this in the future. I think that if we were ready, like, you don't know when this is going to happen. You don't expect people are just going to let themselves get caught out within a prison like this for just, like, no good reason. I don't think it was, like, kill event. I don't think it was, like, an MGE. They were just zeroing farms to like, take resources and kill troops that could be used to kill enemy troops in KVK. Like, they were, like, I mean, they said themselves. They were, like, purely doing it to be spiteful. So what would you do differently? I mean, I think the marches that you use to swarm a city like this are pretty significant. And although some of these marches, you can see they're, like, bringing, I guess, probably some siege with some gathering commanders, I think that the best option for a Jad with YSS is to have a ton of Guans. Like, you actually can silence chain a city with a ton of Guans, and the amount of damage they do is dramatically reduced. So I think a bunch of Guans here would have been really good. And this player is max technology from KVK Tech, but they are in home kingdom, so their hospital capacity is much lower. So a part of the reason why the swarm has to be constant is that we want to not give them an opportunity to heal their hospital. We know they have the resources to heal the hospital because they've been plundering them from farms, but also all they have to do is just push the gem button. It'll use the speed ups it would take to heal the hospital. It's actually, in the grand scheme of things, not that many gems, but they only get like 1 or 2 seconds to do that after the combat ends. Now, the other thing that's kind of funny is that I guess this player doesn't notice when the Imprison falls off because they are going to pop a Peace Shield. So the couple optimizations I had here would be, number one, just those marches that are swarming, right? Like we've got some double Cs up in here, and I think going for like really high damage marches would be preferred, obviously. I mean, also this helps our Imperium drop for whatever that's worth. I don't know if this is exactly the way we would normally want to be dropping from Imperium, but like, I don't know. Dealing with a player who's gone rogue is actually like better than losing them in our KVK at this point. So the other thing that you'll notice here in this video is that there's a couple occasions where rallies arrive in the middle of the city getting swarmed, which is to be expected because we cannot stop attacking the city. Otherwise, he'll have an opportunity to heal his hospital. You can't heal your hospital when you're in combat. So the only other thing I would say might help for this situation is that when the city is getting low and the rally arrives, you cannot back off of the city at that point. What you need to do is stay so that the rally can't actually connect with the city, and the rally then will connect after the city burns and everybody walks off. So you can see what just happened is the rally arrives, but people walk off, and then the rally hits for like the least important part of the city getting zeroed. But you do need to just like send as many rallies as you can from as many alliances as you can in this situation. As you saw previously in my King Talib video, which I re-released like just yesterday, the timing of re-releasing the King Talib re-zeroing video and also this is like purely coincidental. Although, I don't know. I mean, Bunny said that as soon as we're done fighting in this KVK, we're zeroing the dude who went rogue, and then we did. So like, I guess it was kind of expected that this would happen. In this part of the swarm, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 Guans, which, like, if you'll notice, it actually makes a very meaningful difference on the speed with which they're using active skills. And by the way, you gain a bunch of rage when you're getting surrounded. For everything hitting you, you're getting a bunch of rage. So it actually is super meaningful to just have those silences on there. So, I mean, I don't know. I really think it's kind of lame when people go rogue, in case it wasn't clear how I feel about that. You play with a group for a really long period of time, and if you don't agree with the leadership, just, like, leave the kingdom without being a jackass. But if you're going to run around and you're going to zero farms, I think this is the way you have to deal with that kind of player. And thankfully, we get to deal with this right before a big migration in. So if you want to join our kingdom, check the link in the description down below for our Discord server. We have a massive migration coming into the kingdom with some like really amazing players that I'm excited to play with again. I don't want to announce who all of them are just yet, but like there will be names that you recognize that are going to be playing with our kingdom, and it's going to be pretty freaking amazing. And by the way, I am going to make a video in the not too distant future, maybe in the next couple days, about how to strengthen a farm to, as best as you can anyways, like defend against a kingdom rogue who goes around swarming you, but to some extent, like you kind of just have to peace shield, but also like how sustainable is it to peace shield, like for some amount of time? I don't know. I'll talk about that in another video. Until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies.